Welcome to my mid-year bullet journal setup. Today I'm switching from one notebook to another, and I am switching from this dark green to this olive green Archer&Olive notebook. So on the last page of my current bullet journal, I have written down the spreads I want to keep, spreads I want to add, and spreads I want to quit, just for guidelines of what to add to this new setup. But first up is the key and nameplate page, keeping it really simple with cursive hand lettering, and then this leaf design. For this setup, I'm trying to copy most of the spreads from my first yearly setup, doing them in a new style and font, but keeping the spreads. So one of my first pages of my yearly setup was this big 2021 spread. So I wanted to do this again and then show that now we are over, or we're halfway through the year. So with this little loading bar beneath the numbers, showing that at the start of the year I had just a small space marked out, but now we are halfway. The next page is my grid spacing guide, and I first heard about it from Amanda Rachel here on YouTube, and I thought it was just a really great idea to save some time when you're making spreads. So I've marked out my most used dividers. Next to the grid spacing guide, I'm doing a little quote page. Now this year is all about self-development for me, and that's why I chose this quote, which says, "Dear me, I know you're scared, but you can handle this. Love me." And decorating it in the same leaf style as the other pages. kind of making it like a wisteria crawling up a house, you know, that kind of wavy, leafy. So since this is halfway through the year, I am only doing future log for the last 6 months, so they fit on one page. This this setup is the exact same from my first yearly setup, just a different font and different colors. I like to add the numbers, the week numbers at the end of my mini calendars here in my future log, just to give me an overview, because I can never remember which week we're in. So moving on to 2 new spreads. The first one being a planning space for 2022, just to have some place to write where I have events for the year coming up, or if I know that there's something I need to remember moving forward, and especially now coming closer to the end of this year. Next to this page, I'm doing my savings tracker. So like the last spread where I drew kind of like a mason jar, this year I'm also, for this setup, I'm also drawing some kind of vintage bottle, and then the different months that I'll be tracking for the rest of the year. And I'm also transferring this spread where I track, I'm calling it my body journey, where I track both my measurements and my weight. And then next to it, as I said before, the year of self-development, I kind of wanted a space to write down different things that I can do to when I'm feeling a bit stressed or down, just to look at to make myself feel better and to know that I always have these things that I can do. Next up is my wish list page, and my previous bullet journal is I had my wish list on only one single page, and it was just really too little. It was just not enough space. So for this setup I wanted to make it a 2-page spread, and then I also decided to divide it up by wants and needs. And the next pages are my to check out or ready to watch, or what else I'm wanting to check up on. So we have series or movies, and then books to read or podcasts to listen to. Next up, I'm doing a spread for projects, and I'm doing it in this Dutch door halfway. I'm doing it a more horizontal Dutch door as opposed to the more vertical. So I'm splitting my projects up in 4 bullet journal, art, knitting, and home DIYs. And then at the bottom, with where I have my Dutch door, I'm kind of making a projects tracker where I can write down the projects I've started, and then I can kind of not dot down the progress and tick them off once I've finished them at the end. So for the last spread of this setup is my mid-year goals. And for the spread I got inspiration from Amanda Rach Lee's goals video from this year, where she made this tracker of where we have the goals, how to get there, how it's going, and where you can see when they've been completed or reached. But that's it for this setup. Here we are with the final flip through. I hope you enjoyed watching this setup, and I hope to see you again soon.